Hey guys, Mosley with Negron Tech, and I hope you guys have been enjoying PoE 2 as much as I have. I know there's a lot of negativity around it, but goddamn am I enjoying the game a bunch right now. So what you're looking at is my Warrior Titan footage of some of the bosses in Cruel, the second part of the campaign, and my first map boss. If you're here, if you want to be a true melee Giga Chad, a true slam enjoyer, a guide on the Warrior and Titan, I have all the information. You have come to the right place. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so all you're looking at is your slam of choice. I like Earthshatter. If you know me, if you've seen any of my videos, I've been playing Earthshatter literally since it came out. I've been playing slams for like 5 years now, I guess, right? And then as soon as you get the heavy stun, whether that's through Boneshatter or just through pure damage, a lot of times you do too much damage to get the Boneshatter proc on bosses, like that's how good the damage is. You Seismic Cry, it empowers it when they are heavy stunned, when you're in range of them, and then you hammer the gods. The Seismic Cry does the more multiplier, and then it triggers the Aftershock. I'll get into more detail about Aftershock, but you have the potential to get 2 Aftershocks, this method, and hammer the gods does so much goddamn damage that this is what is pretty much one-shotting bosses. Now, is this special? I don't know. I made it a point in my other videos to really explain that I did not spoil myself at all. I took my sweet-ass time in the campaign. I paid attention to the lore and the story. I actually probably shouldn't have, because it is really, really basic. But, you know, I don't know if other people are doing more damage or doing less or doing different broken interactions. I have no idea. I'm just giving you my opinion and my playstyle. Somebody that's been doing this for a very, very long time, every single time in solo self-found, and I think relatively succeeding, you know, in PoE 1 with SSF and getting to the league, the pinnacle bosses, all that good stuff. So let's get into more detail in a second here. All right, so let me just jump into the map real quick so you can see kind of how the mapping is, and I'll tell you right now, the mapping is pretty terrible. I just did this map, so I don't know why it's not letting me complete it. I have no idea. Deadly map balls, whatever. Just get in real quick so you guys can like see how to clear, and it is not pretty. I'll tell you that right now. It is pretty damn slow. I have invested a good amount into attack speed. My boots have no movement speed, so that's like really rough. The rest of my gear is just pretty much god awful. But what you're seeing is literally what you'll do. You hopefully get a Boneshatter proc. If you don't get really any proc, then you can start, you know, earth shattering, exploding spikes. But your fastest way to really clear is to literally just leap slam around with leap slam supports. I even added a jewelers to get more speed there, and then you just kind of hope that you get enough damage to get what the hell is this map, dude? No density. So you hope you get enough damage to like actually get the Boneshatter and kind of screen clear that way, because Boneshatter just so much faster than having the Earthshatter explode the spikes. And you see there, just take an absolute metric F ton of damage. No resist. You know, I'm surprised I didn't die with 9 lightning resist right there. And a little Boneshatter proc. You know, sometimes I even just left click, and that's pretty much it, right? It's pretty bad when you think about it. This is a very, very bad showcase just because the density is mapped so bad. But right there is a little bit better, and you kind of see how it works. Like if I'm not right on them, and I have a little bit of room to actually get that Boneshatter cast in, then I'll do that. But that's pretty much like kind of how to clear a map, and you know, you do that. It's not the fastest in the world. I don't know how other builds are doing it, but that's kind of like the little map clear. All right, so we'll talk about gems first. Gems really are kind of, you can really use whatever slam you want. I'll get some skill gems right here. Give me 1 second, and a support. So you have all these slams over here. You have Rolling Slam. Do not recommend it for late in the game. Earthquake you can use with less duration. It's a different name. It's like quicker or faster support. You can do that if you want in combination with a Shockwave Totem. The leveling was super good doing it that way. Very, very good AoE on Earthquake. I don't recommend Sunder either, just because of 1.5 second or 1.4 fixed. 1.5 here. It's just really, really, really hard. So for your primary slam, I mean, you're kind of stuck with Shockwave Totem. I guess you can use Supercharged Slam and just not channel it all the way, but I think that's even pushing, like, it might even hold for like over 1 second, so that's a little bit tough. But really, it just comes down to like Hammer the Gods and Seismic Cry, and you know, Earthshatter to break armor for me, Boneshatter for most people, but I like attaching Splinter to Earthshatter. And that's really, I don't really see other viable options. Like, it's pretty much kind of like Earthshatter or Earthquake, but general mapping, it's like, it's not like PoE 1. Like, your mobility still does a crap ton of damage. So, like, your Leap Slam over here, it just does ridiculous damage. Like that attack damage multiplier, even with just like speed supports and life tap, it still does very good damage. It even does so much damage that sometimes you don't have time to even proc the Boneshatter because it'll heavy stun them themselves. So we'll get into the supports. You have a lot of options. Just remember that your supports, you can only use one support per skill per your whole layout. So like if I have Lacerate here, I can't get bleed on like my slams or something like that, right? So we'll just go down the list. Mace Strike, our left click, Rage, Overpower, some more stun, bleed, and execute. It doesn't really matter what you use here. The only one that's kind of important is Rage, because for me, I like to utilize Rage in my build, and I'll explain how I do that. I almost never generate Rage through my left click, but it's just nice to be able to when I have the free time to do that. Seismic Cry, very, very big. The way it works is that pretty much when you heavy stun them and you're in their range, you get a knockback, all that stuff. But the important thing to note here is you get the Aftershock, right? What does it say? Empowers next melee slam, plus an additional attack per endurance charm when consumed. It says it somewhere over here. Yeah, to perform an additional Aftershock. What is Aftershock? Aftershock to burst area damage, blah, blah, blah. You can read that. Really, what you should be looking at this is that it just does double damage. It's guaranteed to do double damage, and well, let me say this. It just triggers again. That's what it does. Aftershock does have his own AoE, but there are conditions. Sunder and Earthquake that I've tested do not trigger the Aftershock AoE. And I'll show you real quick now. Did not trigger. Let's see if it triggers here. I'm sorry. Right there. So that little circular is the Aftershock AoE, right? If I do Sunder or Earthquake, I don't have my inventory, but you'll see. Show you real quick. The way this works is that, where is it? If I get Earthquake, you'll see no Aftershock on that hit. If I get it on this one, I don't know. Right there. So it re-triggers, so it's actually different. So Aftershock has a lot more benefit with Earthquake, because you see Aftershock just repeats with Earthquake. Is that bugged? I don't know. Is it intended? Maybe. I have no idea. It's probably something to do with the fact that it's a delayed attack. Sunder does it too. Sunder will literally just trigger again and trigger those shockwaves, not its own Aftershock too. So that's something to think about. I don't like Sunder for mapping because the fixed attack time, as I said, but that is something to think about if I want to do an Earthquake build over Earthshatter, that you're going to have much, much better AoE on those repeats, right? So base will have about 30% Aftershock, so that is the difference. You know, it's something to think about. If you don't like Earthshatter, then maybe that's much more appealing to you, getting those double Earthquakes. And it scales with that second hit, not the initial, so that's good. Same thing with Earthshatter. The Earthshatter is the bigger multiplier on the spikes now, not the initial hit. And Aftershock repeats that. So that's talking about that. I'll look at the support gems for Seismic are Premeditation. Pretty much when I Seismic, I'll get that big Hammer to Gods, another 15% more damage multiplier. There is another support that allows you to get Rage consumption, and you can use that too. Go right here. It is called... One second. Enrage Warcry. So, because we generate a lot of Rage, you can do this if you want. The damage is so much, at least early on in the maps for me, that I don't need it. Maybe later on I'll change it. But for now, I'm just using the increased AoE just so I can play a little bit safer in maps. Again, my gear is terrible. My life is terrible. Everything is awful about this. Like, there's not a single redeeming piece of gear, even like for early maps compared to PoE 1. And I've been checking the shop. I've been doing everything I can. Crafting, I'm like running out of resources over here. It's pretty difficult. My resist are awful. You saw me almost get one shot by white mobs with 9 lightning resist against lightning attacks. So that's that. That's why I use that for Seismic. Next up, we'll talk about Hammer of the Gods. Doesn't really matter here. Heft, really good. Heavy Swing, just more multipliers. The less attack speed doesn't really matter. I use Heavy Swing here instead of Brutality just because we already have so much less attack speed with Earthshatter. The 80% base, the 20% less attack speed, which is a big hit with the multiple fissures. So that's why I use that here. Boneshatter, you can use really whatever you want. Aftershock is pretty much really good for clearing. It's much faster to trigger the prime for stun, that little thing that goes over their head. Yeah, Boneshatter that, and then Shockwave and the Boneshatter AoE change, you get a lot of nice damage there. Devastate, you just break their armor when heavy stun. I use Scavenging Aura, which I'll get to there. That's why I do it. And then, you know, it's just nice to have fully broken armor when you go into that heavy stun. Like, just Titan has so many multipliers when people are heavy stunned, immobilized. So that's why, you know, it's just another very, very good synergy. It's almost kind of required, right? So that's very good too. So close combat, just more damage. Again, Boneshatter, very, very good damage multiplier plus the Shockwave. Again, you know, you have this hit and you have that, so that it just does a crap ton of damage. Another thing, you know, if you didn't realize it, you can click this and you can see like the details about the skills and stuff like that, the highest range, the max, all that good stuff. All right, now the bread and butter, Earthshatter. This is going to be a little bit different here, but again, I play games however the fuck I want, and I'm sure people don't do this, but I actually use Brutality. Yep, that's obvious. Upheaval, that's another obvious one too. It just does more damage. It is kind of similar to PoE 1, that the AoE scaling is actually, the more AoE, the farther they spread, and then you War Cry and you explode them, right? So normally with bosses, you actually see if you center it perfectly, and it actually hits your mouse to center. It's not like PoE 1. PoE 1, it just did a fixed kind of like hexagonal pattern around you. You can aim Earthshatter now. If I want it far away, look at that, right? So a boss, what you actually want to do is position it so that middle spike is going to be right on them. And when you see here, even the right and the left spike, do it one more time, I'm sorry, they'll AoE, and those right and left spikes, that was the Aftershock, and I explode them, all three will hit. So it's a very, very big damage multiplier, but you still kind of have to use your brain. Like, I know we're warriors and we're titans and we zug, but you can still triple, you know, triple damage, triple tap on the upheaval support. So that's why we use it. It does suck with the less attack speed, but it is what it is. So for me, I use Splinter. This is primarily a mapping setup, and just generally in my experience is that I like using Splinter just because I like having as much uptime on Scavenged plating as possible while mapping. I don't like to die. I normally play kind of defensive, even though this is not hardcore. I'm a solo self-found, so I don't really like dying. I'd rather just play safe and, you know, go a little bit slower, and that's why I do it. Like, having a 40% more armor multiplier on the majority of the time compared to just relying on Boneshatter, because a lot of the times you're just gonna do so much damage with Leap Slam, you're not gonna have some opportunities to Boneshatter, right? And with bossing, like, I don't want to fight a boss and then only have armor when he's heavy stun. Like, getting that Scavenged plating when he's heavy stun on the boss, it doesn't help me right then. I'd rather have it early on, so that's why I kind of like adding Splinter here, and you just get much more better uptime on Scavenged plating. So that's that. I use Shockwave Totem too. You don't really need to. You can use Berserk, or if you wanted to, fix your spirit around a little bit. You have options there. You can use Ancestral if you wanted to too, and then link Earthquake to it, even though I don't recommend that because Ancestral attacks faster than the Earthquake triggers. So that's a little bit tough. Sunder might be good, but I don't know if the Sunder fix attack conflicts with Ancestral Totem. So that's why I just use Shockwave with Jagged Ground, just so I have another AoE slow. It's kind of like a oh shit button for mapping, like, oh damn, like a ritual spawn breach, let me get my Shockwave Totem, it'll trigger the Jagged Ground, and then like have a nice AoE stun, trigger some more damage, and help. Scavenged plating, again, 40% more armor, very, very, very good. You're gonna have it a lot up during mapping. More defensive aura, I know, but if you don't care, then use Berserk, I guess. Cannibalism, this is absolutely massive. You put it on at least one of your auras, because you're pretty much going to be on 100% uptime while mapping as soon as you flow in and killing and stuff like that. Very, very good life recovery. And then more skill effect duration. That does affect the aura duration, so when you do get the 10 stacks, you have a little bit more time and leeway to maintain those stacks. Infernal Cry, just a second war cry that we use. I still, later on, we'll figure out a way to generate endurance charges, but all this really does just empower our attack, so we get the empowering bonuses. We don't really care about what the war cry actually does, because all the fire and stuff like that, right? So, oh well. Leap Slam, our mobility, and also kind of our primary clear ability, right? Because you just Leap Slam. Momentum, faster attacks, which is martial tempo, and life tap. You don't need to use life tap. You know, it does cost a F ton of mana, and, you know, we don't regen that fast, so I'd rather just leap slam consistently and not have to worry about lacking mana for Hammer of the Gods or my Earthshatter and my other war cries, because they are very expensive when I get to mobs. Like, I'd rather have the mana 100% when I leap into the mob instead of like, oh shit, I gotta press all these buttons. And because like I have a couple hand injuries, I use WASD, so just like it's just more convenient that way. And then time of need, you can use other ores here. The only reason why I really like time of need, and we'll look at some of the ores here, is because having that with less duration support, it's every... Alright, my apologies. So with fast forward, you know, vitality, you want to add that too because you have the spirit for it. With fast forward, it triggers every 7.49, which is very good. The less skill effect duration, the tree does affect this too. It's not so much about the heal, but getting a curse removal and elemental ailment removal every like 7.5 seconds, pretty damn good. I'd rather have that than really any of the other auras. Nothing else intrigues me. Magma barriers for shield builds, Herald of Ash, whatever. It doesn't really help with the clear, in my experience. Berserk is okay. Dread Banner, I don't invest into decks at all. Even if I did, I don't know. This does not seem good to me at all. Like, what is the point of this really? Like, I don't know. Maybe future ores are going to be good. So that's that. That is all the gems. Alright guys, here's my skill tree. I don't know if there's any website that you can upload it and share it. I have no idea. I don't really give a fuck. I just set it up how I want to set it up, and nobody really knows what the fuck they're doing yet. Unless there's somebody like in the high 90s on hardcore that's like, oh shit, like this guy's a Giga gamer. Who knows? I don't know. So this is the build that I came up with. I initially started going this route for just more melee damage, getting the stun build up, melee, and then going down here for the AoE and stuff like that. But as you get into maps, and even in Cruel, in the later parts of the second playthrough of the campaign, you start realizing that like all the damage, all the less attack speed multipliers fucking hurt. And this is already a slow and methodical game, so now all of a sudden, like, this is no joke. Like, it is so slow that there's a lot of times that without investment, that you're just gonna get like chain interrupted, even with a lot of stun threshold. That it's just, it feels so bad to play. So that's why I pat this way. So I initially pat this way, like this is way in like the level 70s. Well, I'm level 70 right now actually, but like once I got to like act 3 on Cruel, I respect out of this and started pathing this way just to get as much attack speed as possible. Get some AoE here, very good. Just and then go back this route. This little middle path right here is just so goddamn efficient for Warrior Titan that it's kind of hard for me to justify doing other stuff. Thought about going armor break, some bleed, you know, some more defensive, or some other leech stuff over here, but it just doesn't make sense because everything with slams, war cries, just general damage, quality of life is all over here, right? The most important node by far to rush early on, especially as soon as you get your slam skills can cause aftershocks, is right here. Split the earth. Another 10% is massive. Instead of 1 out of 5 slams triggering your aftershocks, you get close to 1 out of 3. If you get aftershock support, now you're getting on your primary skill, whatever that is you want to do, your earthquake, earthshatter, now you have almost a 50% chance to trigger the aftershock. Remember, the aftershock is going to use the primary damaging portion of the spell. Earthquake, earthshatter uses spikes, earthquake is the second one. So aftershock is so goddamn good. It's the only reason why this build is so good. You know, your Seismic Cry, if you get an Aftershock proc with Seismic Cry when the boss is heavy stun on Hammer of the Gods, you're pretty much 3 Hammer of the Gods right there, which is doing the full damage, and it's just massive, right? So this is what I did. I kind of went this way and rushed pretty much got one of these nodes over here. I forgot which one, but just rush Split the Earth because it is so goddamn valuable. Just massive damage, massive quality of life. Get Resolute Technique in there. I don't think crit is really viable in a scenario like this, especially with no dex investment. More skill speed, which is additive with, this is pretty much attack speed, at least from what I've seen. From reading it, that's what it means. It helps everything. The animation speed, the war cry speed, and attack speed. So really nice. Only 4 points. Is still kind of in the route of where we path, so that's nice too. Still getting over here more break, AoE. You'll notice a consistent theme is that I invest a crap ton into AoE, because with no AoE, our clear already sucks. Maybe it's just a PoE 2 thing, I don't know. But the clear, maybe once in a blue moon, if all the things line up, you'll get like close to screen wide clear with Earthshatter and some you know, totem triggers and stuff like that, but very, very rarely. Earthquake, much better with AoE because you just get massive scaling there. But going into here, we get some armor, stun threshold, no big deal. I get a lot of reduced attack speed just because singular purpose right here is so goddamn good, and crushing verdict is just insane. That is an insane node. I don't give a fuck that it's really it's -8 attack speed, and that is tough. Like it is hard to justify that. Maybe if you're playing hardcore, you don't do this just because, you know, the faster you are, the safer you are. Again, I'm in solo self-fun, I'm in softcore, so I don't really care too much, but even if I played hardcore, I might still take this because I'm used to it. But 50% attack damage and all that stun buildup, there's really not a lot of notables on the tree that can compare to that, right? We do use rage, so unforgiving is very important, not because of the max rage, but because of inherent rage loss being slower and starting a second later. So instead of 2, it's 3 seconds and another 30% slower. So like now like 3.3 seconds. Oh, actually no, almost 3.9 seconds, almost 4 seconds slower, which is very forgiving in maintaining rage. Because again, rage, more multiplier, more attack damage that doesn't affect your bleeds and stuff, but you know, for Hammer to Gods, your Earthshatter, very, very good. Just, you know, we get 34% more multiplier in ideal scenarios. Awesome. Resolute technique, some max life. It's the only max life on the tree. Pretty cool. You know, probably not worth it for 3%. It's very, very minimal, but you know, talked about crushing verdict. Strength is really, really good. Strength is now just +2 life for 1 strength, so every point of strength is very, very, very good. War cries of power and additional attack, pretty nice for the Hammer to Gods, because if Hammer to Gods does not one-shot them, then, you know, the Earthshatter is going to do massive damage too. Some armor, recruit best life. Again, I talked about split the earth is amazing. More damage against heavy stun. This is another nutty node. You know, 20% more damage. That's like a free support on a Hammer to Gods when they're heavy stun, right? So very, very cool. I additionally path over here because I want as much attack speed and as much quality of life as possible. You get more rage, so more rage generation. That's a 34% increased armor multiplier. Even if you don't always have max range, let's say you're like at 25%, that's comparable with other nodes. That really is like getting 25% rage and then rage generation for free. Because again, no matter how good you are at the game, there is so much projectiles, chip damage, after death effects that you're going to get hit sometimes. You're going to get hit a lot. At least me, like, I don't play to, like, not get hit. I play to get hit every now and then. Have pretty good means of recovery. Hopefully when we get tankier, it becomes a lot easier to, like, justify taking all this stuff. But when you look at the investment here for these 4 points, 5, 10, 22% increased attack speed if you've been hit in the past 4 seconds. So, like, if you compare it to these nodes, it's really a no-brainer how much value you get out of this. And again, you're going to get hit a lot. If you're playing hardcore, maybe you don't do this, but that's my treat at level 70. My plans, I did want to do Giant's Blood at some point, but even with the reduced attributes on main hand weapon, 88, that's, you know, 240, no, it's 264, 264 strength required. Not even close. It would take a lot, probably easier to do in trade. Maybe it's a later league project or later early access project for me, but that's kind of it. That's my tree, guys. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Oh, almost forgot the Ascendancy, right? So pretty obvious. Earthbreaker is just absolutely nuts. Another 20%, like 20% to repeat the skill, do double damage. However you want to look at it, absolutely massive. It is, I don't know the other builds or classes, but this is definitely one of the best goddamn nodes in the game, right? Next up, Ancestral Empowerment. Is this worth it? I think so. You pretty much, all your slams, you free up a gem slot, and gem slots, at least starting off, are very important because you have so little. And you pretty much, again, because you got to remember, you can only use Fist of War on 1 slam. Fist of War is still very, very good. This is going to help your single target, you're clear, and it's just every other slam. So it's just really, really, really good. It doesn't take a lot to line up. It's not like 1 and 3, it's every other one. Oh, I just Earthshatter without the Fist of War proc. Okay, now I can just Hammer the Gods and I'm good to go, right? So, nothing crazy. Very, very simple. Besides that, I'm actually probably going to go Hulking Form. Before I talk about Hulking Form, Crushing Impacts is useless. I mean, we have Boneshatter and you have plenty of gem slots, skill slots. I don't know why you would. This is just kind of like a dead node. 40% more. You just don't need this against heavy stun enemies because you already do so much damage. Warrior Titan, maybe this is a game problem, but the biggest strength is the single target and the bossing, right? Why do you need to make what is already S tier, S plus tier aspect of the class even more? Like, you can't go above that. Like, there's really no point. Like, you're gonna one shot regardless. So let's get utility elsewhere. You probably don't need to go ancestral empowerment, but I still think it's really good. Stone Skin and Mysterious Lineage are really good and probably to go to for most people. But I actually think I'm just gonna go Hulking Form and Colossal Capacity. This is really nice. Like, you know, again, Wildwood League, whatever it was called, I forgot, but that was a great league. And Hulking Form, this is just kind of nuts. Like, it doesn't take, you don't have to go into POB to know how nuts this is. Like, every 5 strength becomes 7.5. Does it become 7 or 8? You know, strength is still really good. Doesn't give you the damage, but now you're getting another 4 life each node. That's a lot of nodes. That's a lot of benefit you're getting. It's not just that, though. It benefits every small passive, right? So every small passive, at least from what I understand, I don't know if this counts as a small passive or an attribute node. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it only counts these. I have no idea. But I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't. Like, these are all small. These are notables, right? These are keystones, right? So, like, keystones, notable, small passives. At least that's what I think it is. Maybe PoE2 is different, but if you get the strength, if you get the damage, you get the defensives, you get the speed, you get everything, the armor, like more rage, like it's kind of nuts, right? It's kind of nuts. You just, instead of benefiting 2 singular things, even though these are good, you benefit the totality of the build, which is so good. Better quality of life with the speed, you know, maybe not better defenses, probably not, but you know, definitely much more damage that you're getting out of here, and just very good. And of course, if you want to be, you know, a cool guy, you can go Giant's Blood, and easier to go that route too. So it's also good if you go bleed. Like, if it works like I think it should, like small passive points, then like now you're 10%, where is it, 5% becomes 7% or 8%, whatever, round up or down, I don't know. And that's that. The second thing, I don't know if I'll even get this, because fuck Sanctum. This was the dumbest shit that they could have done, is to make Sanctum gatekeep your fucking Ascendancy. I love PoE and PoE2. I really love how it's slow. I like the methodical gameplay. I like the dodging. I don't mind how slow it is. I really don't. Like, it's still a good ARPG experience. But Jesus Christ, man, this is the dumbest shit in the world that they could have put fucking Sanctum. Like, I really wish the devs would like play melee into Sanctum on like the gear that we have, or leveling it on. Like, I literally had all blues. Like, I didn't get a single rare for armor piece. Like, I don't know what is wrong with them. Like, I really hope they fucking just take it out of the game completely. I don't care that they spent resources on it. It is terrible. I don't know a single person that would enjoy this shit. The only reason why people did Sanctum was because of fucking it just printed money. Like, all right, that's my rant. Okay, so that's everything. I know it's a long-ass video. It's a deep dive. You know, it really only takes like 2-3 days. I didn't get to play Saturday much because I helped my boy build a computer, but it doesn't take much to kind of like get the idea. Like, okay, this is good. This is good. Good combos. Aftershock is really good. Hammer of the Gods is good. There's still a lot to learn and figure out in the game, but to start off, like getting through Cruel and the maps, something like this is gonna get you through it. That's pretty much a TLDR. Whatever slam you want, Earthquake, Earthshatter, Hammer to God, Seismic Cry, focus on break, armor break, stun build up, get the heavy stun, and you just pop off. General mapping, leap slam a lot, and get Boneshatter when you can, when they're primed for stun. Otherwise, try to generate some space. Don't be afraid to left click either. Left click does a lot of damage. And that's that. Mozu with Necron Tech here. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you're enjoying PoE too. Again, you know, I've seen some of the Steam reviews. A lot of people are unhappy, but hey, you know, it is what it is. If you're enjoying the game, then give Warrior and give Titan a shot. Have a good one.